once in a while. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right, so we should be going live any second now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live now.
According
boys.
to my phone, we're
Oh,
live.
no, I go, baby. Let's go.
So yeah, we're live.
Turn that
Oh
off.
my god.
Yeah, if you have it open in a window, it's like close it.
I had it on the phone. My bad.
Echo.
Oh, we got Omnisek Squad in the chat already.
Oh, let's go, baby.
snap.
Represent. Yeah. Thank you for showing that love.
Oh, hypnotic,
Much
melodic.
love.
How's it going, bud?
You guys.
Hypnotic in the house.
Did you already tweet out the link?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, where's that? I'm not seeing him live. I'm refreshing.
Yeah,
on
me
his
either.
page, so.
Oh, Panda's in here too. How's
Oh, I
going,
see it
Panda?
now.
Hey, that's my boy right there, Panda
see
Man,
it now.
guys. Big things coming for that man. He's a good
I'm
one,
gonna
man.
cut. Oh, okay.
All right, guys, we'll give this about another 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and then we'll get going. And but yeah, welcome to the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy to
Great.
be here.
For sure.
All right, let me get this tweet up.
Yeah, I don't see the stream live. Anybody got it up on the YouTube?
I do. I'm about to tweet it out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I just tweeted it. I just tweeted it. I hear some tweets right now. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Tweet.
Someone's like custom.
Is someone strangling a bird? No.
Nah, that's from my end. The birds out here. It's still daylight out here, bro.
It is still daylight. Boom.
Social media madness.
Social media blitz.
fun.
All right,
All right.
who tweeted it? All right, there we go. Who tweeted it?
I tweeted it. I believe I tweeted the right link.
I tweeted it.
Yeah. I just I'm seeing all of the I just see all the tweets now. I'm just gonna retweet every spam it up.
All of us.
Mine's gonna be in between some sort of retweet with some cute puppy and then the Lured Up podcast.
Can't go wrong with cute puppies.
Gotta
There you
retweet
go,
them.
Tom. I retweeted,
What's up,
Tom.
Milton? How's it going, buddy?
I got you.
All right,
Yep.
everyone, welcome to the Lured Up Podcast Creator Roundtable for YouTube Part 2. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to get started in just a second. We have an awesome panel today. We have Tom Kruse, Kaito Nolan, JT Valor, Omnisek, Hybrid Mongoose, Infamous Big Rob. We're rolling deep today, folks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in the chat. We have PGR Illustrious Overseer Justin in the chat as a mod. Please let him know if you need anything there. I'll do my best to check it. I'm sure we're all going to be jumping in and out there, but it could be madness up in her. So, but again, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to take a minute to go around the room, let everyone introduce themselves. The links to everyone's channels are going to be in the description. Please make sure you support all of these creators. They're all doing great things. They've all caught my attention. That's why I brought them on the show. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know everybody. And we're going to go from there. All right, we're going to start with Tom Kruse, the newest addition to the roundtable that we brought on the show. Man, how are you? Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your channel, where you're from, how long you've been doing this.
I'm good. Thank you very much. My name is Tom Kruse. My channel is The Cruise Ship. Basically, I just have a lot of Pokemon adventures, play Pokemon games, and mainly Shiny Hunt. I've been doing this. I really kind of kicked my channel off in November of last year when Let's Go came out. And yeah, I've met all you beautiful people through this, and I've just been enjoying my time doing it.
That's awesome. So you have a lot of experience with the franchise besides Go then, really, right?
Yeah, so I started Pokemon Blue when I was in 5th grade, and then I played Gold and Silver, and then Ruby and Sapphire, but then I missed out on Gen 4 because I didn't buy a DS, and by the time I got a DS, Gen 5 came out, so I played that. I didn't get a 3DS for Gen 6 and 7, so I haven't played those. But when Go came back, or when Go came out, that's when I was like back into it. I was like, oh my god, Pokemon's back. So I've been obsessed since.
All right, great to hear, man. That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. Kaito Nolan, very excited to have you on. Solo Queen in the house. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your channel.
So I'm from Irving, Texas. I basically do raids. I upload all the bunch of raid videos with the different counters. Some are extreme, some for hardcore, some for casual people. And I play basically all main series, but I haven't played Let's Go. Let's Go, yeah.
Really?
Wow!
Oh,
I'm
Wow.
not a shiny hunter, first of all. I don't really care about shiny. I care about attack 15. So unless shiny does extra damage, I'm probably not gonna go for it. That's my thing.
Well, that's awesome, you know, and it's funny because you know I come from the TCG world, you know, that's where I started with Pokemon. So you know I played through all the main series games and stuff, but you know Let's Go was kind of that weird bridge between the Go players and you know the main series players. So it's very uncommon to hear someone that plays Go that also plays the main series that didn't play Let's Go. So that's pretty unique. But are you going to be playing Sword and Shield?
And I had the friend that gave me mystery box. So I was like, cool. I don't have to play it.
That's it. You're good. There you go. You're out.
Right there.
All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks.
JT Valor is in the house. How are you, man? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm JT Valor. I go by JT, but my name's Jonathan, and I am the self-proclaimed Shiny King because I mostly just do that. I like to shiny hunt to an unhealthy level, and it's a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot of the Pokemon games. Not all of them. Actually, no. I've done every single Core series game, but I definitely haven't done things like Ranger or anything like that. And I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, I'd say.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think I met you at GoFest briefly last year when I was chilling with Kyler, and yeah, and you're gonna be staying at the Airbnb with me and the Lured Up crew at GoFest this year.
I'm excited. This is gonna be a fun time. Because like I feel like I
Spooning.
remember meeting you, but I think it was at the Silk Road after party, right?
Yeah, maybe it was the Sylph party. I don't
Like,
that was a
you
blur.
look
I don't
very
remember
familiar,
anything.
so I feel like I met you, and I hope I wasn't like horrible, but it was a good time.
I don't remember much from the Sylph party. I just remember like hitting a miniature golf ball like as hard as like if I was driving it and it was bouncing off the walls. That's all I remember. I
It's
don't
weird.
remember anything.
One of those hit me. No.
That was me. All right, next up we have Omnisek, East Coast representing in the house. How are you, man? Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. My name is Omnisek. I'm basically a content creator for about 3 years now. I do a lot of Pokemon Go. I do unboxings of cards of Pokemon. I also play Let's Go. But you know, we're a really hard grinding channel. We're all about positivity, very energetic, and you know, we're Team Harmony out here, just representing the New York City community out here.
That's great. Yeah, I was just telling you earlier. I grew up about 20 minutes outside of New York City in beautiful Elizabeth, New Jersey. That's where I'm from, and I still work in Linden, New Jersey, which is about 15, 20 minutes outside of the Holland Tunnel. So I was playing in Jersey City, which is like 30 seconds outside of New York City, and I have an EX raid there tomorrow. So I was thinking maybe I'll pop into New York City and do a little Central Park grind or something like that. But
yeah.
Great,
that
man.
Sounds lit.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Excited.
Thank you for having me.
Hybrid Mongoose, next on the panel. How are you, man?
What's up, guys? What is up? I'm Hybrid Mongoose, aka Hide Bread Mangoes, coming at you right now. I've been making Pokemon Go videos since the start, really. I started live streaming. That's how I started. I started live streaming, and then I started getting into it, and I saw channels like Trainer Tips and Mystic 7, and I was just like, oh, I got to start making vlogs. And when I first saw the Pokemon Go vlogs, I was like, my mind exploded. I was like, how are they doing this sorcery? So I knew I had to level up and do that too. And I've been making vlogs for 3 years. I just started getting into the PvP aspect of the game, and I'm really enjoying that now. So yeah, I'm into it. I've been to all the Go Fest so far. And as far as my Pokemon Go history, I played the original Red, and then I kind of got out of Pokemon in general for the longest time until Pokemon Go came back, and I got back into it. So, I mean, literally Gen 2 on was all new to me. I didn't even know what it was, so wow. Yeah. And then, obviously I played Let's Go. I was really into that for a time period. But yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, Go is definitely the equalizer. You know, it brought so many people back to the franchise, and that's one of the things I loved about it, because you had people that had an affinity to the franchise. You had people that played through some of the main series games and may have, you know, would always think that Pokemon are cute and would always, if they saw a Pikachu, that would make them smile. But when Go came out and you had that ability to take it with you, it just kind of brought everything back together for a lot of people. So that's one of the main reasons I really love what Go has done for the, you know, the Pokemon franchise at large. But thanks so much for coming on. Well, I can't wait to hear from you again more on the show. All right, next, infamous Big Rob. How are you, man? I can't believe it's daylight.
How's it going?
West Coast is so weird.
It's gonna be dark soon for sure.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know about your channel.
So my name's Infamous Big Rob, or just Big Rob. Pretty much my channel is basically vlogging, me going out on my Pokemon Go adventures with my community or with my group of friends, raid trains, shiny hunting. And I also do a lot of Pokemon Go on the go streams too, around my neighborhood, just catching Pokemon and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I remember I met you last year at Go Fest, and you traded me an exclamation point unknown. I was very excited. Still have that, my one and only. So thank you so much for that.
I think you gave me the X unknown. I still have that.
Yeah, because I went to PAX last year and got the PAX unknown, and we were able to do that swap, which was really cool. All right, so we've met our panel. That's awesome. It's so cool to have like a big group, man. I really love this, and we'll see how well we can make sense of all this without stepping on each other, which is, you know, I know half the fun. But yeah, we'll get through it. But one of the first things I want to talk about here is something that is exceptionally intriguing to me, not being, you know, really in the YouTube space. You know, I'm obviously on the podcast side, breaking into YouTube a little bit, but I don't do vlogs, I don't do anything like that. So my content is on YouTube, but I don't really play the YouTube game. And that's something that I kind of want to talk about with what makes the algorithm of YouTube so necessary and so important, and how you guys kind of manipulate the system or work and be part of that system. Because when I've talked to other YouTube creators, you know, understanding how YouTube works is equally as important as creating the content that you're going to be putting on YouTube itself. So Tom, why don't you talk a little bit about, you know, how does that work for you with making different style of content, whether you're playing Let's Go or doing Go? Is it something where you just have to consistently put product out? Is it something like that? Or is it, you know, do you still feel comfortable just putting out content when, you know, you feel like it?
I feel like it's a mix. I feel like I put pressure on myself to put out stuff. If it's been like kind of like 4 days or something like that, I'm like, I feel like I gotta do something. Otherwise I'm letting people who subscribe to me down. I kind of put that kind of pressure on myself. I'm pretty new to all of it, so I don't really know how the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff works. I just feel like after some time, I'm like, ooh, I kind of need to get something up, because, you know, I feel like I gotta hang out with my peeps. So that's kind of where my mindset is on that.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of what makes Pokemon Go content on YouTube so exciting, is that natural, organic connection to having passion, not only to the content itself, but to the community. And, you know, it's a little cliche. We always, you know, community, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm that fucking guy. Like, I'm the one that's always like, you know, pushing the community aspect. And I definitely appreciate and understand that importance of having that responsibility to the community. And when I hear creators say, look, I want to get this content out because I want to put this out for my community, that's always a good sign, because that shows me that the passion is not just in the content or the monetization or anything like that. It's really about the community and the people and giving them what they want. And I really appreciate that. But JT, what about you, man? Is it do you ever play the algorithm game, or are you just getting stuff out when you can?
So basically what I do is I give myself a grace period of 3 days. I don't allow myself not to, unless something happens, of course, that I can't control. But if I can, I try to do something every other day. If I can do it every day, I will. But it also depends on what it is. Like, I don't want to just make a video because I need to make a video. Like, right now, I'm currently trying to get a shiny Cresselia. I've done a lot of raids. And, like, it's not that, you know, so I'm trying to build this up to be one big video that I can put at the end instead of, like, each small videos each day, you know? because I don't really care about getting a video up all the time. I just want it to be something I'm happy with, that other people will be happy with, and also like the thing I posted recently, to be informative. Like, you know, if I feel like there's enough news that I can bunch together in a big news segment, I love doing that too. You know, so like I try to play the game to the point of I don't want to ever not upload something within a week, because the algorithm will smack you in the back of the head for that. So, you know.
Yeah, and I'm learning all about that too, and you know, I'm trying to read industry publications and white papers and all this stuff and try to make sense of it all. And you know, what I've come to realize is there definitely has to be this balance between the quantity of YouTube content, but as a consumer, you could feel the burn of that overload of the quantity without getting the quality. And I think that's something that's super important.
Actually, if I could,
yeah,
that's one thing that I also do is like, if I can't think of a good video idea, or sometimes I just do it because like I haven't done it in a while, I like doing a live stream because it's a good way to connect with the people that are, you know, viewing you, because I love going on live streams and I try my best to chat with every single one of them, which is getting a little harder now. But you know, just like, you know, hey, have you guys gotten it yet? Because I can ask that question in the comments, you know, and somebody could write back. But it's fun to have like the actual chat and people like excited to like tell you, oh yeah, I did get the shiny Apom, you know. So that's another thing too, is that like, you know, and that counts as an upload too, which is kind of nice, because it's fun to be like, all right, look, I really just want to have a nice solid grind sesh while I talk to people, and that's really good for like the stream. Yeah.
And we all know it's about not having to edit too.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh God,
that's like the greatest thing. Like, you know, hybrid. Like, one of the things I like about your content too is I can get a lot of information from your videos. So I think that it's, you know, there's all, you know, between the panelists that we have here today, there's so many different styles of content. You know, we've got over the top energy from someone like Omnisek. We've got, you know, incredible, you know, crazy raid, you know, calculations and challenges coming from Kaito's channel. Like, such diverse content. And like JT and Tom, you guys have been traveling. Like, it's freaking insane. But with what was it? Hybrid mangoes. It's so funny.
Hide your mom's mangoes.
Oh.
I'm just gonna keep changing it every time.
How do you feel like with the quantity versus quality thing? Because I see like when you put your videos out, for me as a consumer, it seems that they're very calculated with, you know, being news driven and editorially focused. And I think that that's what makes me come to your channel, is because I know that I can find that type of content. So how does that play with when you put content out? Is that's got to be a pretty important thing of the quantity versus quality, you know, when it comes to YouTube, right?
Right. Yeah. At this point in time, I've made a rule that if I'm like, you know, I have a 2-year-old son, I work, I have a house to take care of, a wife to take care of. You know, it's like I have responsibilities outside of YouTube. YouTube is a great hobby to have. I love doing YouTube. If I could ever make it a full-time job, of course I would. But you know, it's, you know, my priorities are in the right spot, obviously, and you know, I do YouTube as a hobby. Now, with that said, you should post at least once a week. I mean, you should. You shouldn't be, you know, like once a week is the bare minimum, I feel, to keep up with everything. If you're going beyond that, I feel like, you know, it can, your subs are going to forget about you kind of if you wait 3 weeks to post something. With that said, I am more so now focusing way more on the quality than the quantity, for sure. So like, I'm putting out better vlogs than I ever have before. And I can say that with confidence because I've changed my style a bit. And I have focused on trying to take, like, my Lapras video I just put out. So much stuff happens in the first 5 minutes of that video that I feel like the watch time has got to be great throughout the thing. I haven't checked it, but it's got to be great throughout the entire video because of the fact that, you know, I mean, you just have to watch it. There's so much stuff happens in the first 5 minutes. It's like it's made to hook you, and I did it on purpose. Right. You know, and before that, and as back to what JT was saying, how he's trying to get a Cresselia right now. I spent 3-4 days in a row going after shiny Lapras in field research. For the field research, I was driving like hours to go get them, you know, when they were being reported. And I luckily I kept that footage that was all included for, you know, the shiny raid day and all that, and it just made the video better. So I'm way more focused now on quality. If there'll be times where I'm like, oh, I should get a news video out, but I'm just like burnt out, tired, don't want to. I just don't do it now. I don't force myself to make videos when I don't want to anymore. I used to.
I think that's super important because I can see through that shit. You know what I mean? Like if I'm watching a video and it's like, man, their heart isn't in it. I could tell that they looked at the calendar and it was like put out video today and they just put it out. And for me as a consumer, it's like, it's very easy to kind of see through that. And, you know, I definitely appreciate it more when it's so calculated beyond just the content itself. Like you're saying, you're putting a focus on the first couple of minutes of the video in order to draw people in because you're concerned with your watch time and your, you know, the penetration of the end of your videos to make sure people are watching throughout. I think that's exceptionally important. And, you know, some of the stuff that I like to discuss on these roundtables, because this is like behind the curtain stuff, you know, this is stuff that you don't necessarily hear people talk about. It's like we just consume and we don't understand the logistics or the operations that go behind this stuff. So that's a very fascinating kind of perspective to take where, you know, you have to kind of do things, especially in a vlog perspective, because that's one of the most competitive, you know, markets of, you know, genres of Pokemon Go content right now. Now, Big Rob, like how is it for you? Because I know, like, you know, we're pushing you to get to that, you know, that 1,000 sub mark, you know, it was so freaking awesome. But it's like, this has got to be an exceptionally hyper competitive space. Like, how do you manage that with putting out content? Is this solely a passion play, or are you still like, are you concerned with, you know, how YouTube is treating its creators and the algorithms and all that stuff?
So the whole reason that I'm taking a break right now is because I feel like my head wasn't in the right place. I was creating stuff that I wasn't too like happy with. Kind of to the point where I wasn't enjoying what I was making anymore. When I started my channel, it was basically me picking up the camera and having adventures with Pokemon Go with my friends, raiding, you know, all the hype. And then it got to a point where I was just trying to put out stuff every day. And it's kind of hard to do when you have work, and it just wasn't something that I was happy with. So I've kind of taken a break just to get my mind back in the right, like, place. Just so I can come back and actually make things that I enjoy and have fun with it again. And I don't blame YouTube for everything, like, for me not growing. It's mostly just because, like, I would take breaks here and there and just, like, not upload. And if you're not uploading consistently, the algorithm isn't going to pick you up. Also, I feel like if you upload something that's like a week or two late, like it was an event, like let's say Community Day 2 weeks ago, if you're uploading it now, no one's going to be interested in watching that because I've already seen everyone else's video about that. So the algorithm won't pick it up and everything else. And I definitely feel like quality should be the main focus, other than trying to like upload every single day if you can't produce something that like you put your whole heart into. And then news videos, I feel like now all the like higher up channels have the news before anyone else, so they get to make it and come out with it before anyone else can even knows about it. So I kind of stay away from news because by the time I'm going to make my video about something, everyone already knows.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge with, you know, even in the podcast space. Like I'm a weekly format, so I mean, I do things like this in between, but you know, there's plenty of times where, you know, I'll have a guest come on and, you know, we'll record for an hour and a half and everything's great. We hit stop and then boom, the news drops. And it's like, you motherfucker, like, what the hell?
All that happens all the time.
Yeah. It's just, you know, the nature of the beast. And, you know, but what that has done in the development of my brand is trying to figure out ways where you can kind of maneuver this news cycle where, you know, it doesn't have to be about the news all the time. And, you know, we had Pope Dave on last week, and that was one of the first things that he said that really resonated with me. He goes, look, he goes, I tried that with the news thing. He goes, I just realized it just wasn't for me. He goes, because by the time I would do it, you know, there would be 800 tweets about it and the news was out there and it would be redundant. So he's like, I found a different avenue to go after. And that made so much sense to me. It really resonated because Yeah, it's the news is a very, very difficult thing to do, and unless you're delivering it in a way that kind of blends entertainment and information, that's going to be a real tough challenge to kind of navigate that. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to get into with Kaito and Omnisek, because when I watch both of your content, it's an awesome blend between information and entertainment. Because when I'm watching Kato's raids, it's like these challenges that you're putting yourself under are so awesome that it's like it makes me want to try what you're trying. And when I see that, it's like it's so engaging, because if I watch a vlog, like, sorry vloggers, but I don't want to go out and do a vlog, you know what I mean? Like, but when I watch a raid challenge, it's like, oh shit, you know, she's, you know, short personing this raid and doing it under like ridiculous conditions. And how do you come up with these challenges? And is it in your thought process of, I want to do this because I want people to try, or are you just trying to like challenge yourself?
I was crazy about gyms. Like back in the old gym system, I loved tearing down the level 10 gym solo. That was my thing with the 6 Pokemon level 10 gyms. That's all I did before. And so when that gym was gone, I just kind of naturally moved to the solo level 3. And once I start getting into that, and okay, this time I'm not gonna use legendary. This time I'm not gonna use this Pokemon. Like, so I started creating all the theme, but like all this stuff, I used to do that with the main series. Like, I love the Elite Four. That was like my favorite thing in the main series, and I always had the theme. First, I go in with my Pokemon. Next time, I'm not gonna use this Pokemon. Like all that. So it's just, yeah, naturally, like I just started doing solos, and I started uploading because, like I said, I wanted to inspire other people, because back then when the raid started, everybody was only raiding for T-Tar, Lapras, like, and nobody cared about Machamp, Gengar. Everybody was like, why are you wasting passes on them? Like, you know, Arcanine, why are you doing that? I used to blow people off, like, you know, oh no, there's Arcanine, bye. You know? And even when the legendary birds came out, I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, all I need is Moltres, and I'm just like, you know, the rest of the birds are not good. I'm just so, yeah, that's why I started uploading a video, and I really wanted to inspire people. And I guess originally, like, they kept the raid bosses so long, people got really bored. And I think that's when they really start turning into solos. Like, you know, maybe I could do this. I have a lot of T-Tars now. Maybe I can do this and all that. So, yeah, that's why I decided, like, doing those 6 unique challenges, like, use 6 different Pokemon. Like, I'm not going to use 6 T-Tars to solo Alakazam and stuff like that. So, it's just, yeah, I just wanted everyone to experience it. That's why what I do.
Oh, that's awesome, and it definitely inspires me as a trainer, because I see this and I'm like, sometimes it's baffling, and you know, I get this like edge of the seat moment sometimes. Like if I'm watching the timer and it's getting close, it's like, yeah. Oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Like it's super exciting and very engaging, and you know, I think that when it comes to that blend of entertainment and information, it's like it's a perfect merging. Using the kind of, you know, the formatting of raids. I think that's perfect. Now, Omnisek, when I watch your content, the energy level is just like this one goes up to 11. Like it is fucking, you know, you're going. And I think that's really, you know, is part of the intrigue with your content. And what is the main focus when you're out there? I mean, are you trying to just, because I think that what your level of excitement brings such inspiration for people to just get out there and go. Because like, even when I see you interacting with people out there, it's like everyone is just, the hype level is significant. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's your main focus when you're making content?
Well, my main focus would be just to motivate people. Like, it's just, yes. I just want people to get excited about the game the way I get excited about the game. Like, I really, truly, it's like this deep passion that everybody knows we all have, in that Pokemon passion. And I am not afraid to show, like, for a long time, I was not like that. Like, I would kept it in. I didn't know. Sometimes I didn't want people to know I liked Pokemon, because, they'd be like, oh, this guy's, he's a nerd, or like whatever. He's into some stuff, so you keep it in. But then at one point, you just let it loose, forget about it, and I just want everybody to be as excited as I am when I'm playing a game. Say if I get a shiny, I get super excited. I'm not afraid to show it, you know, like, and just my whole personality goes with it. But everybody, the focus is to in my channel is to have fun, to make a connection with the viewer. Like that's a big priority in my streams. We've been doing it for like 3 years now, and it's been a slow climb, but I never give up. And the reason is because of them. Like other people would give up, if you try for 3 years and you're so well. Like I just took it as like there's a lot of things out there like that you can get into like that motivate you. But like, every loss is a learning, you gain from negative situations, you turn them into a positive. That's another big thing that we focus on the channel. The motto is stay chill and be positive. So we really focus on trying to turn the negatives into the positive and just learn and keep growing as a content creator. But I'm also somebody that really wants to, like, I may be to a fault. Like I'm really out there to like really and I really want to get there. I don't care how long it gets there and how much I have to work, how much I have to learn. But every day is a new day, and that's I think my channel in a nutshell. And we're all over NYC, so the energy, the city brings its own energy. So when you're watching my content, you may just like the sights and sounds, or like what I have to do in order not to get hit by a car and chase a Pokemon down.
That's awesome, and that kind of brings me to one of the next things I wanted to talk about, and that's really the diversity of content. That even we're seeing just across this panel here, and the differences between building a niche audience and building a broad audience, and the challenges that are associated with that. Because, I've seen, I've worked with creators that have, close to 1 million subscribers. I've worked with creators that, they're 30 days into their progression of their channel, and the subs seem to be, of course, that's going to be a defining metric for the consumer. But as a creator, what are the most important metrics on your behind the scenes when you're looking at your analytics, when you're looking at things like, are you looking at analytics? Like some people could give a shit, but what are the important things with audience building and, kind of providing this diversity of content? Because I'd imagine that, with the addition of PvP, that's kind of changed a lot of perspectives for a lot of creators out there. And, when you're doing a stream versus produced content, or news versus, something focused, or something scripted versus something, that's fast and loose. I mean, what do you guys think is really, important as a creator? Like Tom, what do you think? Because I know that you said you haven't been doing this too long. So, you had the opportunity to go to Singapore, which was freaking awesome. That's how I found you. And, through those channels. So, being like among some exceptionally experienced creators, what kind of did you take away from that? As what, is there anything that it's important to you now that maybe wasn't important to you before you experienced that trip?
I don't know. I think what's important is just really just kind of being yourself and having fun with it. Like how some people here have said that, like if you're not really feeling it, you're not having fun with it, it kind of takes a toll on you. So I definitely, like, what I took from it is just like to just experience everything and just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. You're your own unique person, and your channel and all your subscribers are there for you. So like if you feel like a bunch of people are doing like news videos or whatever, and like you don't want to do them, then don't do them just because you feel like you need to do them. I guess just kind of just put your flavor on whatever situation you put yourself in Pokemon, whatever you are interested in, whatever you find fun. Chances are there's a bunch of other people that find that fun and interesting as well. So just have fun and just enjoy yourself, and don't put too much pressure on it. Is kind of how I look at it. I try not to like look into anything like the analytics or anything like that. I'm pretty bad with that right now. So I think I just try to play it one day at a time and just be yourself and have fun with it, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's a great perspective, and it's very interesting to hear that, because working with so many different types of creators, I get that vibe of so many people like, oh, I really care about these analytics. I really care about my time on site. I really care about my watch time and watch time per upload and all that stuff. And some people, it may not be important to their mix at all. So it's definitely intriguing to hear these perspectives. Now, Hybrid, you're saying that you do pay attention to this stuff. So is like,
how important is like
sub count? Like, is that you know, for someone that's looking to launch a channel or someone who has a channel, like, what do you think one of the, you know, the more important things to kind of monitor if they want to start looking at the back end of stuff, Giggity? What do you think is like, you know,
like, well, see, the algorithm changes. Google changes things as time goes on. It has changed. There was an algorithm when PewDiePie was coming up that brought him up. That's no longer true. If you try to chase this algorithm, you're never going to win. Literally, it always changes. It was watch time at one point. It was uploads at one point. The algorithm was favoring certain things. It's hard to say. You know, you can't look too far into the algorithm. I was mainly trying to make the best video possible. That's why I said so much stuff happened in the first 5 minutes. It's because I was just trying to make just the best video I could make, you know, and capture the day as best I could. And I feel like I really did that. So, you know, I think every content creator knows when they have a video on deck that they're like, this is a good one. You know, like this is a good video. I'm proud of this video. And that's the way I want to feel all the time. I don't want to ever put out a video. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to put, if I'm not feeling it and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to post, I just don't. And, you know, it's, if you try to follow the algorithm too much, you could get in trouble as well. You know, YouTube's a long ride. You know, I feel like there's big ups and big downs, and no one can explain why, you know, this video got 300 views, but this video got 10,000. I don't know. Nobody knows, you know. So it's really true. It's seriously. And at one time, you know, you could kind of tell what the algorithm was favoring, but now it's like I have no idea, you know. So it's hard to say. You know, another thing that I think people fall into a trap of is comparing themselves to other people too much. You know, like, comparison is the enemy of happiness. I think Thomas Jefferson or somebody said that. It's so true, though. It's like the second you try to start comparing yourself to somebody else, you just already lost there, because you're like, look at somebody else's channel and go, oh man, look at all those views. Oh, look at how they're growing. Oh man, I'm not growing like that. What am I doing wrong? You know, it's just, it's not that way. You know, you can be your own worst enemy sometimes, you know. So
well, I agree with that 100%, because it's, you know, especially if you're a channel that's starting out, or a channel that's, you know, 100 subs, 1,000 subs. And again, subs is such a relative thing. Like, I hate to, you know, that I keep coming back to it, but, you know, if you're watching someone that has 1 million subs and you look at that content, they're developing content because of the size of their audience. And if they had a niche audience, or if they had a smaller, more focused audience, they would make different content. So it's a natural progression that your content will change based on the style and the size of your audience. So if you're looking at someone with 1 million subs and you say, oh, that's the content I make because I want 1 million subs, that's not going to work for you if you have 100 subs. You have to make content that's going to be, you know, reinforced and supportive of the fact that you have 100 subs to build that audience up. And, you know, that's when it comes to like niche content, like with Kaito stuff, like, you know, that's as niche as it gets. But I know that when I want that content, that's where I'm going. And that's what, you know, makes it so powerful, to be able to have focused content and high quality content, because I know that when I want something specific, you know, you got to remember, YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. So if someone wants to find something, not only if they're just Googling it, the YouTube results are going to come back. Or if they're on YouTube and they're searching for, you know, how to solo a raid, it's like they're not going to see, or it's not going to come back to the person that's got the 1 million subs. They might be subscribed to that person, but that's not going to be what's returned. What's returned is going to be that specific content that's tagged accordingly and meta tagged accordingly and labeled accordingly and built in a certain way that is going to be what's relevant to the content. And I think that that's a really interesting balance between entertainment, information, niche content, niche audience, broad stroke audience. Like, there's so many different facets that you really have to kind of pay attention to when you're a creator, especially on YouTube, because YouTube is brutal. Like you're saying, it's this long, convoluted road. I think it's very important to kind of find it with yourself, and kind of like what you were saying, Rob, where if your head isn't in it, the audience is going to know that. So it's very important to be able to find a place for yourself where you say, like, look, this is the content I'm going to put out because it's going to make me happy as a creator. This is my creative outlet. But at the same time, it's going to be doing a service to my audience, however big that audience is. That's relative. But if you're putting that content out and it's making you happy and it's providing a service for your audience, that's a winning recipe. You know what I mean? And I think that's hyper important when it comes to, developing an audience and developing growth, through this, navigating YouTube. And I'm learning all this shit as I go because this is all brand new to me. But it's definitely interesting to hear these perspectives on it. And, one of the things I always talk about when I speak with YouTubers is kind of dealing with this grind. And, Tom, you were saying before too, like, don't put this pressure on yourself. And that's got to be exceptionally challenging because you have the big YouTubers that are like, I got to put content out every day. And it's like, they're doing it full time. It's like, you can't keep up with it. It's not a sustainable thing.
Honestly, what I say to people, because people ask me, like, I want to get into YouTube. How should I go about it? And I tell them, you got to treat it like a unpaid internship. Work hard at it, but you're not going to get anything from this except for experience. Like, you're not going to get paid. This is not going to keep you going. You need to treat this as I really need to impress Mr. YouTube, but you're not going to be able to live off of that. So, do as much as you can. Do what makes you happy. Do what you feel like it's going to work, but realize that you can't compete with, I can't currently compete with the really big people right now because they are also partnered with people. As soon as the Adventure Week went down, suddenly they all have videos about this because they earned that spot and they know about that.
I caught that. Oh my God.
So
I was like, how does he know so
quick? Right. It's you can't compare yourself. These people have earned their spot. They got this area. They have this venue. You can't go, man, I didn't get a video out before this person because this person had that video ready to go as soon as Niantic was like, okay, you can share the news now. That's literally how it went.
News is a terrible thing to try to cover as a content creator, especially at the if you're just starting, you might as well not do it. News is not a good thing to cover. Nowadays, I only cover news if I feel like I have something to say about it or I think I can add something to it that people aren't thinking about. I have had it where I have made let's say I do a video on Adventure Week tomorrow. I have had people in the comments go, thank you for covering this. I was waiting for you to say something about it. If you have good fans, they're going to want your opinion. It doesn't matter when you put it out. So, got to keep that aspect as well. The fans keep, I mean, I know I'm speaking for a lot of people, but I feel like the fans keep us going. That one comment that's like, this was so funny, you made my day, blah, blah. That little comment could just mean the world to us as creators. Definitely. Can mean the world.
It really does.
Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't matter if the video gets 10 views. If that one person, if it made that, that person's day, that's all that matters. And that's how you have to look at it, really. Because if you're in it for the money, I feel like you already have failed. And a light switch went off because the beginning of this year, I was really in a holding pattern, I was calling it. I was stuck at the same amount of subs forever. I don't know. I wasn't posting that much too, so it was also my fault. But I was stuck because of the algorithm for 3 months in the same sub spot. It didn't even move. I'd gain 10 subs, lose 10 subs. Gain 10 subs, lose 10. It was just just like this. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And that can get into your head. That can really get into your head. I don't know if you've seen Reversal recently posted on Twitter. He's like, I'm gaining subs. Oh my God. And it's just like,
yeah,
to know what that feels like being stuck. I was only stuck for 3-4 months. He was stuck for years because, he had a lot of hate from people. A lot of people, even to this day, don't like Reversal, and Reversal is amazing. So,
bro, I was fucking hypercritical of Reversal in the beginning. It's it's, and I think that there's, because of the passion that the creators put out in their content, that as a consumer, it's only natural to share that type of criticism as well. But you know, obviously YouTube is a fucking brutal place. It's like
Yeah.
the way people, you know, share that criticism with the creator themselves. Some of them is, you know, it's just completely inappropriate. But, you know, on my podcast, you know, we would talk about reversal. And we talk openly because we're not shit talking, but we're gonna be exceptionally constructive and be like, look, this is how I feel about this. This is a very odd perspective, or whatever it is. Then we had reversal on the show, and it's like, bro, I just want to let you know I talked hella shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's a natural thing to be like, I'm so passionate about this that I'm gonna be critical as hell because it's an exceptionally competitive market, and you know, but we all do better when we have, you know, the general vibe of, you know, taking care of each other. And I think that's inherent in what Pokemon is all about. And, you know, I was in the Pokemon Professor program, like, you know, in 1999, you know, and the tenets of the program, you know, honesty, integrity, all that kind of stuff, you know, it holds very true. And I think that it's kind of been lost in translation over the years, and especially moving into the YouTube space where, you know, it really is about friendship and love, man. You know, like it really, that stuff has a lot of impact and a lot of power. And, you know, it's very, very common for people to get, you know, keyboard muscles or whatever they want to say and just talk shit. And it's like, it's not constructive to anyone, and you end up looking stupid. And it's like, there's no problem. And I'm sure anyone here on the panel, and I know with all the creators that I've had on the podcast, they want criticism. They want to know how they can be better, or how they can, you know, improve perspective to be more inclusive of a larger audience. But, you know, if you're just saying like you suck, I mean, that doesn't do any good for anybody. Like, how is that constructive in any way?
I mean,
you know, like, look, the way you did this or the way you shot this, you know, it was really awesome. I really enjoyed the way, you know, the lighting looked here. It's like that when you're constructive, it's just so positive. I think that it really helps, you know, create an understanding of, you know, and give the creator that motivation. Like you were saying, like you get that one positive comment and it's like, oh, my heart, the feels like this is so good. Like this is, it makes it all worth it. And, you know, like, you know, I'm reading comments right now and it's like, I'm seeing all these heart emojis and Ludo Clack's throwing hearts everywhere. And it's like, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me so happy to hear and see. It's like, I think it's very important that, you know, as creators, we're open to that, because, you know, it's very easy to just, you know, want to feed the trolls and snap back and fire back. And it's like, you know, that's fun every now and then. Don't get me wrong. I love doing that shit sometimes. But it's like, you know, you can't make a habit of that, because just like you don't want that bullshit criticism from them. It's like if you snap back, you're not providing any better perspective. Like they're going to think better of you after that if you tell them to go fuck off or something. You know, it's like they're going to think it may be fun. It may be good in the minute.
I've actually found a fun way around that personally when it comes down to things like whenever I get a negative comment. That doesn't happen too often, but for when it does happen, I mostly just play along with it, like in a way of like, I never go, oh, you know, get away from me, yada, yada. I'll just go like, you're right. You know, this and this is wrong, and you should even see the other things that are wrong with me. And like, I find that self-deprecation usually just makes people go away. You know.
Well, and I think that, you know, that plays into the fact that when you're a passionate person, putting out passionate stuff, putting yourself out there, you know, and it's like. And Kaito, like with your content, like when you're playing with your son, that shit warms my heart. Like that's amazing to me. I have a 10-year-old son. We've bonded over Pokemon for years. And you know, when I see that dynamic in some of your content, it's like, man, this is freaking awesome. Like this is, I could tell the importance of the franchise in your family and the fact that you guys are doing this together. And I was like, that makes me so much more excited. And I mean, I talk like a drunk sailor, you know what I mean? It's like our podcast, you know, we talk shit all day long. It's like, but the family aspect of Pokemon is exceptionally important. And it is very, you know, a big, huge part of the Pokemon market, obviously. So when I see that type of stuff on your channel, it's like, man, this is a fantastic dynamic. And, you know, it really brings a different perspective that, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, it's like my son is a YouTuber. My son has a YouTube channel with 6,000 subs. He's got, you know, 5 million views total. Like we've got some videos that went viral, and the comment section is freaking brutal. And he's an emotional kid, you know, and he's 10 years old. And, you know, we've had to shut comments down on some videos and everything, but he already understands the dynamic of these people are not people I want to associate with in real life. Let them have their time. Let them have their platform to talk shit, and let them do their thing, because I don't want them as a fan. I don't want them as a viewer. I'm not going to interact with them in real life. And if this is how they get their jollies off and they're going to give me the watch, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's like, you see that dynamic from a 10-year-old. But, you know, Kaito, when I absolutely love seeing, you know, same thing with like Tauntaun. When I watch Tauntaun and see his kids in the videos, I was like, what a cool dynamic. Like, this is so cool. Like, how is that? Let's talk about that for a second. Like, how is that dynamic as a creator and as a parent? I mean, how does that kind of influence the way you create content?
I think that's kind of like the new thing, because I've been always uploading some sort of like extreme challenges. Like I do that with my boyfriend all the time. Like, you know, we do Kyogres and stuff like that, which is not something I could do with my son, because that requires the understanding of energy gain, when to dodge, when not to dodge, when to hold a charge move, like all those stuff. Like my son is not there yet. He's more of like a spam relobby, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, but I love playing with my son. Like, I'm so proud of him. Like, he has really good Pokemon. And, you know, he's been called a spoofer in the schools. And I got mad and I kicked those kids out of the gyms before. You know, it's just, I don't know. The negativity, the kind of stuff that we get is usually like, oh, you're a spoofer. That's the kind of stuff that I get. So I don't necessarily put myself on a camera. Most of the raid challenges, the video that I do. Plus, oh, you have this much stardust. You must be spoofing. You know, like all those are the negativities I get. But I usually just like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, I don't really respond to it. I don't get a lot of negativity and stuff on my channel, but once in a while I get it. And then still people think that just because I'm a girl, they think that I don't know anything. So then I'm usually just like, whatever, you know? Yeah.
That's a great perspective. And you know, you kind of have to have that thick skin to be able to deal with that and just, you know, let that shit bounce off, because it's going to happen. And if, you know, that's almost in an odd way flattering. It's like, you know, oh, you think I'm cheating? I'm that good? Yeah. Thanks, bro. You know, it's like it's definitely an interesting dynamic to see that. And yeah, the comment section is crazy. And Rob, I mean, I keep coming back to what you're saying, like and I commend you for taking the break, because if your head isn't in it, you're not, you know, focusing on caring for yourself and caring for, like, this is a crazy space to be in, and it takes a lot out of you. And the amount of time that you have to put into it is a lot. And, you know, if you're not really in that mind space where you feel happy for yourself, I mean, not only is it going to be reflective in your content, but it's also not healthy for the creator in any way to, you know, force yourself to do this and not feel good as a person. I mean, like, what do you think is, I mean, that's got to be the most important thing, right? Taking care of yourself. Like, that's got to be huge.
Yeah, definitely have to take care of yourself. And like, the whole reason I got into making videos is because it's something I had a passion for. Before YouTube, I was on Vine with like 40,000 followers, just making 6-second funny videos. And as first channels I watched was Trainer Tips, of course, to learn about the game and all that. And seeing a job and worked, I would all night go to my other job, the whole process over and over again, just so I could get enough money to buy a camera, get a decent editing laptop, and just make I wanted to have fun with. And so I think it's important just to, like everyone else, you know, that make great points about, like, don't post or make a video if you don't feel like it. Don't cover something if you don't feel like it, just because you want to get something up on the channel. Like, that's really important. You should just make what you enjoy. And what, I mean, there's, I guess, a line between what you enjoy and what you're like, but I feel like that line is like a little blurred, because you should still be able to enjoy, and there's going to be some people who enjoy the same thing as you that'll watch as well.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's a perfect transition to the next topic I want to talk about, and that is that maintaining that love of the game, maintaining that enjoyment level, because You know, there's sometimes where I'm podcasting and, you know, it's like, you know, I'll be done with the podcast at 11:30 at night. And it's like, I look at the clock and it's like, I got to be up at 6 o'clock for work. And it's like, well, I can either go to bed now and get up at 4 and start editing, or I could try to stay awake for the next 3 hours and start editing. And it's like, when I do that, sometimes I feel that burn. It's like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? It's like, because I'm spending time in the Pokemon space, but I'm not even playing the game. I'm editing, you know what I mean? And it's like the edits. And it's like that, you know, it's definitely a challenge to try to be able to maintain love for the game itself and the franchise itself when it drains the living daylights out of you. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's got to be exceptionally challenging in the YouTube space, because I'm on a weekly format, you know? So it's like, I'll record for an hour and a half. I'll do probably 4 to 5 hours worth of editing and making the thumbnail and all that. So I'm like, you know, for each of those shows, you know, I do 2 shows a week. You know, it might be like a 6-hour swing on each of the shows, you know, and then I put a shit ton of time into, you know, social and all that. And that's something else I want to get into in a minute. But it's, you know, that maintaining a love for the game. Like, do you guys ever feel any burnout where you're working so hard not playing the game that you kind of lose touch or lose the passion for the game itself? Or is it always a feeling of, man, I got to get this edit done so I can actually get out there and play, because I want to play this game. I want to engage with the game with playing and not with, you know, freaking editing. Like, well, Tom, how does that work for you? Like, do you ever feel that burn where you feel like you want to play the game more or stay away from the game?
Not yet. Whenever I want to play the game over like doing like something like a vlog, then I'll just do like a live stream. So basically I'm out there playing and hunting for things as I would be, but I'm also having the community be a part of it, because I have it be, I think it's fun to do this and play these games with the community, because I originally, like, a lot of my friends in my personal life don't really play Pokemon or don't really care about Pokemon Go. So, like, whenever I would get a shiny or something like that, I'd be like, hey, I got a shiny, whatever. And they'd be like, I don't care. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, go away. So, like, an enjoyment for me with the game is, like, playing it, like, with a live stream, because I get to share that experience with other people, and then the other people get to share that experience with me. So, like, if ever I get, like, some sort of, like, I'm not really interested in playing that event or that day or something like that, and I just want to just straight up kind of just play the game, I'll do a live stream or something like that. Like, because I won't cover like necessarily everything. Like, if there's some Pokemon that I don't really care for all that much, like the shiny comes out, like when I was in Singapore, Baniri was like really popular, or it was all over the place for the Easter event. I didn't really like, I don't know, Baniri's cute, it's a good shiny, but I was just like, like I ended up getting one, but I didn't really kind of like force my way into getting some sort of just like, all right, well, Baniri, here we go, baby. So usually if I do get kind of like I don't feel like making that sort of content, I'll do like a live stream so I can play the game as I would and go to places that I would be playing normally, but also including everyone else in it.
Yeah, I think that kind of plays into that natural organic feel where it's definitely important to maintain that passion. And if you're forcing yourself to do something for the sake of content, the consumer is going to be able to see right through that. They're just going to know that it's not an organic thing. And, you know, just like a TV channel, they're just going to go to the next one, and they're going to find someone that has a little bit more of an organic approach, because I know for me that as soon as it's like playing a video game and something happens in the game that just takes you out of that immersion, takes you out of that space. And when that happens, it's like, oh, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like that you know, I can see the seam in the wall. I don't feel the wall. I don't feel like I'm in the game anymore. You know, whatever it could be. So it's definitely important focus. But what about hybrid? You ever feel the kind of burn of connecting with the game where, you know, you feel like you're engaging with Pokemon, but you wish you were playing the game more?
No. I edit when I want to now. I don't force myself, like I said. So staying up all night is not going to happen because I've paid for it too much. Plus, I've been doing this since, 2016. So it's like I'm used to it. I know the deal. I know when I should be editing, when I shouldn't. I burnt out plenty of times, where you get excited. I did an experiment before. I was like, I'm going to post every day for 3 weeks, and it worked. I mean, I got a lot of, I was trying to play the algorithm game, and it was cool. It worked. I got a lot of views and subscribers, but, it killed me in the end. And you know, family time was getting hurt a little bit, you know, for that experiment. And my wife is awesome. She would never say anything, but she actually said something after that 3 weeks, and I was like, whoa, I need to stop this.
I'm very excited for Pokemon Sleep. I can't wait to start streaming when Pokemon Sleep comes out.
Some sleep streams, bro.
It's gonna be like a new like
you're
ASMR
excited about
craze.
it until you start talking in your sleep. And you start getting all these secrets out there.
Hey, some streamers make a lot of money with sleep streams. They put on text-to-speech, and people just watch them sleep and donate, and it's crazy.
I want to get paid to sleep. Jeez.
Yo,
well, you're gonna when Pokemon Sleep comes out now.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Somebody in the community is gonna make a video of them like sleeping for that thing. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that'll be me. I'll be like, hey, look at I'll have all my buddies over here snuggling with me.
Pokemon shower.
Maybe Snorlax is a good snuggle buddy.
Is Omni muted? Because
I muted Omni. I muted Omni because he was playing with his mic.
He was typing on his keyboard, clickety clackety.
Yeah, that's it.
Taking too many bong rips too. It's not a bong. I'm joking.
Oh, just the way you should have a mute button. Like, what? Omni, you'll have a little mute button, a little microphone button. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, snap.
You gotta tap the screen or something. Depends on if you're on mobile or not. But
there you go. There, now you're back.
Yeah,
now you're back. You're good.
There we go.
All right. It's just a little pen. It's just a little pen.
New York. That's great. That's great. No. Self-care. I mean, I love what Mystic 7 has been doing with We the Community. I think it's absolutely, you know, one of the most stigmatized things, especially in this space, that, you know, it's exceptionally important that, you know, we take care of ourselves. And as, you know, part of this community, you know, and the fact that we're all working together, and, you know, that it's not necessarily about competition, it's about this camaraderie. You know, it's very important that we take care of each other too. So, you know, if you're not happy, we're going to know. And when you see someone that's not happy, it's very important to engage that person in a way that's going to be sensitive and say, hey, you know, what's going on? How can I be of assistance here? You know, how can I help? You know, can I help you? I'm going to leave you the hell alone. You know, but either way, I think it's important to engage people to kind of break down those stigmas of trying to take care of each other, because it's just hyper important, especially in the space, man, because I've seen some people go through some heavy shit, and it's like, bro, you're losing your mind over a Pokemon video. Like there's, you know, you got a family, you know what I mean? It's like, let's reprioritize. Let's rethink this stuff. And, you know, I have to check myself all the time too. You know, my wife is a co-host of LURED podcast, you know, but she'll be the first one to, like, you know, smack my ass around and be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, you really need to reorganize your life here. It's like, you know, it's Sunday morning, 4:00. She'll get up to like get a drink of water, and it's like, I'm editing. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, it's like,
yeah, there's a line that you need to, you learn. I've learned it after 3 years. I know it. You know, I know when is the right time to edit, or if it's like I said, if it's a bad time and I don't feel like staying up all night, I'll do it tomorrow. You know?
Yeah. You have to take care of yourself. Like before I started streaming or even starting YouTube, like I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression. And a lot of my subs know that. And so I usually talk about it very candidly on the stream. But basically, after making sure I got plenty of sleep, exercising, eating healthy, I got out of the anxiety and depression. And when I would do super long streams, like kind of pushing it to kind of like, if someone's like, oh, don't stop yet, and I'd stay up until like kind of like 2 a.m., I would notice the rest of that week my mood was a little shifted and a little off. So you have to take care of yourself when doing this stuff. You have to make sure you get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, and just make sure you don't put too much pressure on yourself to get that stuff. Like, take a day off if you need it.
Yeah, it's definitely important. And I think that, you know, as a creator and as, you know, people that have audiences, and, you know, influencer is such a fucking weird word, but, you know, using the platforms that we have to kind of talk about this stuff is great, because if people are coming to you for some kind of information, they're going to value what you say. So, you know, you could say something as simple as, you know, stay hydrated, people, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's important. You know what I mean? It's like, if, you know, you just said it, I took a sip of water. Thanks, bro. You just, you know what I mean? Like, that's good shit, you know, but it's definitely important to, you know, with this whole mix to keep your head screwed on straight, because you know, it's very easy to see that degradation of someone over time, where it's like, man, this person is just breaking down. You know, they're just losing it, and sometimes it's painful to watch. And it's like, I love Casey Neistat. You know, I grew, you know, watching his vlogs for forever, and you know, he was doing it every single day, and then it came to a point where he was saying, like, this is crushing me. This is killing me. This is killing my wife. This is killing my family dynamic. Like, this is, you know, things need to change. And having that ability to have this self-reflection, you know, with this kind of stuff is super important. And it's like, look, this has been a weird diversion away from Pokemon, but it's a major part of this scene here. And
as Thomas drinking some water.
I'm saying, yeah, stay hydrated, you thirsty bitches. You know what I'm saying? Drink up.
I'm a thirsty bitch.
I think it's kind of like the nature of the beast when you start seeing growth to try to chase it. And it's important to remember that at the same time, you got to take care of yourself, because if you're not, you know, bad things could happen.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to balance, you know, real life and creating content and taking care of yourself all at the same time, because you can't, I mean, all of the full-time YouTubers, they like, that's what they do for work. Like, they make videos so they can do it every single day. The rest of us are kind of doing it because it's our passion, and we have to support ourselves and have a job and family and everything else at the same time. So it's really, really important to like just take a step back sometimes and get some sleep. And like Hybrid Mongoose was saying, if it's late at night, wait till the morning or whenever you have free time to edit and upload, and don't just like push yourself too far.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm kind of in the same thing with this. Like, I just constantly hunt shinies. That's what I do. And of course, this event that's coming up, there's 3 of them, so that's great. So, you know, it's one of those things is like, I'm excited for it. I love this game to like a point, because I actually use Pokemon Go for my personal health. Like, I lost 100 pounds because of this game. So like, I really go out of my way to do this game, because I do this anyways. Even if I wasn't doing the YouTube, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing. Just now I'm talking to myself more, or technically my camera or whatever. But,
talking to myself more.
More, yeah. So, but yeah,
would
like,
you say shut up?
Yeah. What do you mean you're not going to get it? Screw you. But yeah, no. Honestly, like, for now, like, what I've learned to teach myself to do a little better is that, like, I mean, yes, editing takes a while and it goes into your sleep schedule, yada yada. That's why when events like this come up, I've taught myself, let's live stream more. I don't have to edit as much. I can talk to people, and I can really hunt like I want to hunt. Because, you know, like, I want people to see the game that I'm enjoying, not, I have to go. It's like, I want this to be enjoyable, and you enjoy like seeing me go through it. But you can tell sometimes in the video, it's just like, man, I don't want to do this.
Too about like live streaming. I like live streaming because I get to see your raw gameplay. And also, you don't have to edit, bro. You just stream,
it's so great.
People, and then it uploads. Like,
the audio's already synced. God.
Yep. Good filler. It's a good filler on days where you like you're busy, or you just have like a couple hours to stream or whatever. It's nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. I stopped making if like nothing happens in the live stream, I stop posting them because I feel like that's just bad. Like, because then like people watch. I watched your 3-hour live stream. You didn't catch one shiny. It was boring. You know, it's like. So I just like, unless something happens, I post it. Or what I've done now is like, I made a lot of good friends in this game. So sometimes my friend invites me out, and I don't want to bring a camera with me. You know, I don't want to live stream the whole time. I want to enjoy the game and hang out with my friends. So if something happens, what I do is I just screen record if something crazy happens, and then I'll Sports Center recap that later, you know? Like, you know.
Yeah. No, that's part of the beauty of it. And I think with Kaito's content too, it's like, you know, that's got to be very nice, like not being on camera and being able to just grab the screen and then push the content out, and the intent and the sentiment of the video is still there. Like, it doesn't require, you know, some of the same techniques and practices that these other panelists have here, because, you know, you're able to capture the essence of what you're trying to get across to your audience simply with the screen recording. That's fucking awesome. That's great. That makes it nice and, you know, a nice, you know, neat and tidy package. I think that's, you know, a great way to be able to do it, because it makes it very practical. Like, it's, I mean, everyone's got a challenging schedule, but that's got to be a cool perspective, right? Because I have seen, you know, when you are on camera, you know, on some of your videos, but you know, the majority of your content, like you said, the screen grabs and stuff like that, like that's got to be part of part of your mix, right? Like that's important.
It is. And then, like I said, my editing is really quick because my video is usually somewhere between 4 to 6 minutes long. So I could just edit like 10 minutes. I'm done. I'm done. Just go to bed. And a lot of the time I just do a bunch of challenges and record. And then like maybe just one night, I just edit them all. So that's why I usually upload every day. And also I do live stream. I live stream raids and I like that because they could see the real me. And then a lot of the solo duos, they're ugly. We get so many glitches, the raids are so broken with those glitches and bugs, and we failed a bunch of times. I want people to actually see that. Like, I'm not that perfect. Like, we fail too, because when I edit the video, we cut everything with a catch sequence. It makes it look like a first throw catch, and it's not like that at all in reality, So
you can't fake it. You can't fake it. It's live. It's like us right now. We're live. You know what I mean? It's like you can't fake it, and that dynamic of that organic gameplay is cool because you're not gonna. You're not going to see that in the Hollywood version of some of these, hyper-produced, cinematic vlogs. You know what I mean? You're not going to see the game fucking break all the time or crash all the time. Like that's part of it. So when you have something that lets you capture that. Yeah. All right, let's shift gears here. I want to talk about something else, and I love talking about the necessity of kind of behaving and living on social media outside of YouTube. Now, you guys are YouTubers, but clearly there's a significant amount of time that needs to be invested outside of YouTube, but still engaging with the fans, not just playing, but on social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or anything like that. I mean, Instagram, Abdi, you were talking about Instagram earlier. It's like, how important is social media to the development of an audience or the development of your own channels? Like JT, what, like, I see you on Twitter all the time. I mean, it's like, is social media like an important part of, it's got to be an important part of the dynamic of a YouTuber, right?
Oh yeah, for me, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, because the whole shiny thing again, everybody wants to show me their shinies, and I love it because like it's like, oh sweet, I just got 2 shiny Cruselias today, and then I'm like, oh, that's great, but deep down I'm also like, man, I didn't get one of those. But like, it's one of those deals of like, I like that people share that stuff with me. Like, and if I'm really liking what like they showed me, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome, congrats. Like, I think it's fun because it's fun to interact with people. Because I used to do this on my Facebook group with our local community, like, when people would post stuff, like I post 100% Snorlax I found, and everybody was like, what? Like, I like being a part of that, like everybody showing what they found, yada, yada. So like for me, and then I like to interact with people if they like go, like, this is why this means this to me. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. Like, comment, just like, I don't know. It's fun to talk to people because I don't really think it's much of a hassle for me personally to go out of my way to talk to people.
Yeah. What about Hybrid? What about you, man? Like, is social kind of an important part of your mix?
Yeah, I like it because Twitter, you can really tailor made it to like how you want to see things, right? So, mine's really all Pokemon Go, like the whole thing. If you look at my feed, it's like nothing but Pokemon Go. like it's people sharing pictures, it's people, and I think that's awesome. It's awesome that you can do that. You can like make that, some people's Twitters is super toxic and all that. And I think the community overall is really great. I don't really see, well, occasionally you do see people arguing and stuff, but, every once in a while, but, no, I think having a presence on Twitter is definitely helpful. That's my go-to one. That's the one I go to the most, posting, hey, I got the shiny or whatever, or, which is kind of funny because sometimes I'll give away what I even got, like, because I'm so excited. I'm like, I got this, look at this. And then I'll be like, okay, so in this video, act surprised when I show this shiny, okay? So I think you definitely have to be active on social media. Facebook is one of those things where Facebook is more personal. I don't think that's, at least for me, it's like, my mom sharing pictures of my son on Easter Sunday. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not really geared towards that. I do have a Facebook group like page for my channel, but it's like, you know. So I think Twitter and Instagram are probably the biggest ones overall for trying to get out there. Instagram I neglect a lot, which I shouldn't. I should post more, and I actually want to start posting more just silly videos on Twitter and Instagram, but just me being goofy. I'll be honest with you, you know, just to get a laugh out of stuff. And occasionally, like I made that when they did the Pokemon Sleep, I doctored a photo of, you know, I did like Pokemon shower coming in 2022, and it's like a Squirtle shower head, and I was like, don't worry, it's not a camera, you know. It's like I just have fun with it, you know. Just you know, I'm just trying to entertain people even on there, just trying to be silly and whatever.
Well, I think that adds to that organic appeal, because it's like, you know, if you're, you know, watching someone's daily content and you see them a certain way, and you know, you it's hard to not think that that's who they are, and it's very easy to forget that they're entertainers, you know what I mean? And then you meet them in real life, or you collaborate with them, and you're talking, it's like, wow, you're a human, like you're not a robot, you know? So it's like that. I think that there are social tools out there like Instagram, or, you know, ways that you can do it on Omni. You spend a lot of time on Instagram?
You know what? I don't as much as Twitter. Like I'm all about the Twitter. The Twitter life is real. Like that's actually, if I had to say one of them, choose Twitter. If you're gonna focus on one of them, choose Twitter, because at the beginning it just grew my circle so much that it just helped out with the channel. So it helps out, but I'm trying to get better with the Instagram right now. I'm definitely putting out content on Instagram, and I'm working. I don't know how to get all the followers, but I'm definitely trying. I'm out there on that Instagram. Yeah.
It's all about hashtags, man. It's all about how to tag
on Instagram. Yeah.
If sure. You know, like I do a bunch of different diverse content on Instagram, and you know, my other co-hosts, they also post to the same accounts, and you know, we do a lot of AR stuff and TCG stuff, and you know, I was goofing around with some, you know, I had the AR guys on, you know, the last roundtable, and I've developed a relationship with Pop Punk Pokemon. He's taught me a lot of techniques, and I started learning how to use different apps to edit. And I made this picture with Ludicolo at a Starbucks behind the counter, and I kind of edited it in a way that it looked like there was occlusion, like AR occlusion, where he was standing behind the counter as like a barista. And I tagged, like, you know, a bunch of different coffee-based hashtags, and it's like, you know, the majority of my shit's like 100, 150 likes. Like this one was like, you know, 2,000. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just because of the hashtags. So just like YouTube has their algorithms, the Instagram is a game itself. It's a gamification of social media. You just have to know how to play the game to be able to get a high score. And to get a high score, you just got to play the right game. You have to play it the right way. So yeah, right. It's definitely, you know, each different platform has a different approach that's necessary. And I think that as a creator, that's definitely an important thing to think about when you're trying to build an audience, because you really have to be well-rounded and well-versed in all this stuff if you want to attack all these different outlets for audience acquisition. And I know it's like, fucking audience acquisition, like what are these nerdy-ass terms? But it's like, when you talk about stuff like that, it is very important, especially when you're first getting started, because when you start to find these different streams of, you know, consumer acquisition, you know, you're being able to draw people into your brand from Instagram and from Twitter and then from YouTube, and then you're getting some people from Discord and Facebook. These are all people that, to some degree, they're going to have this cross-pollination, because the common ground is Pokemon. But I know plenty of people that are on Instagram that don't have a Twitter. I know plenty of people that are only on Facebook. So, like, if you're only on one platform, you might be doing yourself a disservice if you're concerned with that diversity of audience. Like if that's not important to you, then obviously it doesn't make any difference. But you know, if you're trying to draw in these diverse audiences, the social is definitely important. Like I saw a question in the chat earlier, like, you know, what is what's some good advice for someone who's just getting started, because they get caught up in editing, where that grind is just, you know, overbearing and overwhelming, and it kind of makes you want to put things down. I think social media is a great outlet for that, because you can be silly, you can be stupid, you can have fun and have these direct interactions with people that kind of remind you that you're human, and remind you that, you know, you are a person, and you can have casual, you know, trivial conversation with people. And it doesn't always have to be about, regimented content on a schedule and all this kind of stuff, because there's that human dynamic to it. So I think that's definitely important. All right, we're a little bit over an hour now. I just want to start wrapping things up here. One of the things I did want to talk about, and kind of what my ultimate goal is with these roundtables, is the importance of collaboration and the camaraderie that goes along with that, and that friendly competition. And I know we were talking about how it's hard to not look at certain channels that are huge and say, "Oh, I got to do that." But what do you think is a good approach and a good perspective to have when it comes to starting a channel or starting a brand? Like, have you ever considered the importance of collaboration? Like JT and Tom, like with you guys going to Singapore and then being in these videos from other other creators, like that has to be an amazing kind of foundational launch pad, right? Like that's got to be awesome for the channel.
Oh no, yeah, it was really good. I mean, like I do look at analytics a lot, not as much as I used to because I'm trying not to let it take over. But yeah, like being with them for literally just a week of Singapore boosted me and Tom. We were both looking at it a lot more than just a casual week, uploading videos, which was cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely good to collaborate with people when you have the chance. Like I only really collaborate with people when I'm in person with them, because it's easier that way for me because I'm just so busy. But yeah, I would say that, it's definitely needed in order to really branch yourself out to other people. Because some people I know only watch 2 YouTubers, but then they're like, yeah, by the way, this Australian girl with a bow showed up and she's cool, and I go, yeah, Zoe. And, all of a sudden, they follow Zoe now, So yeah, it's definitely important to branch yourself out like that.
Yeah, collabing is definitely it's exposure. So you get yourself out there if you're in other people's channels. Because I'll get a lot of comments being like, "Oh, I found you from so and so's channel, and I like your enthusiasm, and I find you." So definitely collabing is definitely helpful for growing for sure.
Yeah. And again, that's how I found your channel, was because of your trip to Singapore. So I mean, if it wasn't for that trip and seeing you on these other channels, I wouldn't have found you. So and like with Kaito, I found her on Twitter. So I mean, it's like, there's different avenues to find people where I'm finding them in these where I'm finding creators in these kind of diverse, convoluted ways that aren't as direct as you would think. I didn't find many of the creators that I watch on a daily basis off of a YouTube search. I found them some other way. So that's very important when it comes to, the mindset of, what are the logistical things I need to be concerned with when developing a brand? There's a lot to it, man. There's a lot that goes into it. And, a lot of the stuff is very important and behind the scenes. And, it may not matter to you. And if it does, man, I envy that. You know what I mean? Because that's like the free, the free will and the free nature of just having a creative outlet. But if you do care about this stuff, it is, it's a very deep, long, dark, slippery slope of understanding the way, digital analytics work. And it's very deep. It's a very deep thing. But yeah, I want to start wrapping up, guys, because I want to thank everyone for coming on the show. Anyone got anything else they want to talk about before we start wrapping up here? I mean, this was fucking awesome.
I'll stop you.
Oh, it's probably the best one ever. It's probably the best.
Light it up in the chat. Hit those likes. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more awesome content.
Yes.
And definitely check out every content creator out here. Everybody works hard, guys. If you even make a couple of videos, a lot goes into it. Like the host has been saying, and everybody here, guys. It really goes a long way. A little love on the channel goes a long way for everybody, guys.
Yeah, when you hear the creators say smash the like button or thumbs up, and that stuff matters. That stuff is definitely. It only takes a second for the person watching the video to do that, and it's like, I know when you hear it all the time, you're like, man, these guys are always begging for likes. It's like, hell yeah, that matters. That stuff really matters. So definitely support all the creators that are on the panel today. I want to thank everyone for coming on the show. This was awesome. Links to everyone's channels and their social will be in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're watching this on or if you're listening to this on podcast services, thank you so much. We'd definitely like to have you on to hear our normal podcast formats. This is something that we're doing a little bit different here. This is our 4th roundtable, but we're going to be doing at least 1 or 2 of these every month going forward. But everyone, thank you again so much for coming on the show. Any last words? Any parting words?
Oh man, thank you so much for having us on.
Yes,
everyone in the chat should definitely check out these guys' podcast. They're amazing. They've had some great guests, and they have great questions, and they really dive deep on some stuff. So just check them out if you're here right now.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. No, and the chat has been awesome. The chat has been
the chat has been going off
like the entire time.
Super
going off. It's been
love all of you, chat. You're all beautiful.
So thank you guys all very much.
Except for J. Kim.
Oh my god.
Oh, not J. Kim, bro. What? No.
He goes, man,
kick him from the chat.
Should I kick him? Should I kick him right now?
No, don't do that. That was a joke.
Time him out. Time him out. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. Thanks again for everyone for being on the panel. We really do appreciate it. And we'll make sure we'll send our listeners your way. And yeah, thanks again for coming on. Thanks, you guys. We're going to shut it down.
Yeah.
You are awesome. Thank you.
Later.
Amazing.
Peace.
See ya.
Later.